Enter the lost world of the Warlord, issue number 3, the Warlord. A bunch of people recommended this series to me on the website and Twitter, and I hunted down some copies in the dollar comic stack, and sure enough, it's good, the Warlord. It reminds me of Conan the Barbarian mixed with Land of the Lost. It's a very nice read from 1976, so it technically doesn't belong in 80scomics.com, but the 70s are always welcome in the 80s. Everything from the 70s is great, especially me. Sometimes. It is the misfortune of mankind that greed and hate and lust for power are inherent in the human animal, for there is a world beyond our world, a world of eternal sunlight that might be a paradise, but for the presence of man. Once again, human douchebags ruin everything, but they do occasionally make good comic books. Like this, The Warlord. Love that opening spread there. Written and illustrated by Mike Grell, who does a nice job. Because it's got a bit of a Conan vibe, but it's like a bit more sci-fi-ish, which is nice. Land of the Lost definitely seems to play some inspiration here, though it is unfortunately, sadly, riddled with horrible advertisements, and not like the cool 80s ads, but the crappy 70s ones. Ads definitely got better in the 80s, so you got to get through a lot of ads, but there's a good story here where the Warlord goes out and kills some people. There's a whole lot of backstory, because the Warlord crashes his Cobra Night Raven in Antarctica, but somehow ends up in the Land of the Lost, and there's some romance or whatever and magic and the crappy Aquaman ad. Backstory. Eventually the Warlord gets distracted chasing a unicorn and captured by swamp people or lizard people or whatever. And that would never happen to Conan, because Conan would just be too drunk to know what was going on, and that's how Conan gets out of all of his problems. He doesn't feel pain, he's wasted. So the Warlord gets strung up onto his plane because they're worshiping it or whatever, and they summon this giant monster who then attacks. But like Conan, the Warlord's friend, what's his friend's name? Mashista. Probably not how you pronounce that, but his friend shows up and helps him out. Very similar to Conan. Conan never actually does anything by himself. Usually Red Sonja bails him out, or a bottle of something. Like, I love how the snake monster's killing that thing there. The Warlord, who used to be in the Air Force. He was, I forget what rank he was, but he was in the Air Force, and he carries the Dirty Harry gun with him. So he shoots that thing in the face with a .44 Magnum. Bunch of crappy ads. And then my favorite part, he launches an ejector seat through its head, blowing out its brains. Sold. I'm all in on the Warlord. After that sequence of events, you can count me in. Despite the awful advertisements and the cheap print quality, it's from the 70s. Really, what do you expect? It's a little banged up, too. That's why it was $1. 30 cents if I could have picked this one up when I was 1 year old, but apparently I missed it. I am saddened my parents didn't think of me back then. Little Mark would have loved this. Sure, actually, I would have. I still do. Enter the Lost World, the Warlord. You'll be seeing a lot. I bought like 40 of these, so you'll be seeing a lot more of them here on 80scomics.com. Check them out on the website. He's back, the mightiest warrior of them all. Really? I think Snake Eyes could take him.